We are with you through until 9. We're live on the Pure West Radio Facebook page. We're on the app, on the website, and on your smart speakers. And as always, plenty on the agenda. We will do football first with a look at Haverfordwest slipping to a defeat on Friday night at Aberystwyth. Goodwick winning in the Pembrokeshire First Division at Hakin, and agony last Tuesday for Wales women as a last gasp goal for Switzerland ended their valiant bid to qualify for the World Cup next year. We'll have a look at what's happening in the Premier League as well, with Liverpool ending City's great run. Arsenal continuing their winning streak, pains me to say. Spurs beating Everton, and in the Championship, a welcome return from injury for Swansea's Liam Cullen. And it might be October, but we will have a cricket flavour on the show tonight as well, as John Willington joins us to tell us why Pembrokeshire's youth side is getting some brilliant recognition. So that is all to come before 9 in the Pure West Radio studio in Haverfordwest. Fraser Watson, Gordon Thomas and Tom Dyer chomping at the bit and ready to go. Evening to you all. Fraser, how are you?
Not bad at all, Ben. Watched a bit of St David's against Temple on Saturday, a windy day down in St David's, so good to get out and see that. And then obviously a sad weekend as well with the news about Rob Benjamin, which we'll touch on later. But condolences to his family, of course.
We certainly will. Gordon, yourself, what did you get up to at the weekend?
I went to the Orbs to see a little bit of the top game, Hakin versus Goodwick, and I watched a half of that. And when I left, it all unfolded into a dramatic finish. I went to watch a little bit of Nayland versus Larne on the Oval Ball game as well. So, yeah, it was a good weekend, Ben.
Excellent stuff. And Tom, evening to you. Great to have you back with us this evening.
Good to be back here. Hope Toby was looking after you last week.
Yeah, he did a good job. I was at Spurs Everton on Saturday. Ben Davis back in the Tottenham side, looking in good form as well ahead of the World Cup, which is good news. And a mention for another Tottenham midfielder, Angharad James, who of course was in that Wales side in Switzerland. And we'll come to that in just a sec. But should we start with Haverfordwest? Because it was the local derby, wasn't it, really, on Friday against Aberystwyth? They're looking to get a response after going out of the Welsh Cup to Thomas the week before. Gordon, 2-1 defeat, wasn't it, for the Bluebirds?
Yeah, it's a disappointing defeat again, isn't it? We were hoping that they would go to Park Avenue and get at least a point. But they conceded in the first half and conceded just after the second, I believe, as well. Haverfordwest had to play a little bit of catch-up. I know Jordan Davis got one back, and Ben Fawcett came off the bench, and he actually had one ruled out for offside as well. So all in it, I think Tony Pennock was very disappointed when he was speaking on Scorio after the game about, the defeat. We keep losing games by the odd goal, he was saying, but we only got ourselves to blame. We have to improve. As we know, in this league, everybody is capable of beating each other. We play Bala on Saturday, so hopefully we can get back to some sort of winning way. So fingers crossed that'll happen at the Bridge Meadow on Saturday, Ben.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have people watching the show from all over, and the Welsh Premier League, it is a tough league because it's a smaller league. I think it's very competitive. Interesting quotes though from the head coach Tony Pennock, and one of them, Fraser, was around Harry Johns, 16 years old, coming off the bench, and Pennock basically said he was their best player, and he's 16 years of age. He clearly frustrated the Haverfordwest boss, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to dig out his players afterwards. And look, there's no point hiding from it now. They do have to stand up for the players and himself as a coach. It's 1 win in 7, of course, and there's also that doesn't count. Obviously, there's 2 cup defeats against lower league opposition as well. And the Haverfordwest have shown grand ambition. We had the statements at the start of the year they want to target top 6. They want to get back to European football. But you've also in danger trying to run before you can walk there. They've got to forget about now, I think, anything in top 6 and just concentrate on getting back to form, because if this continues it won't be a battle for the top 6 there, and I tell you, they're only 1 point above the bottom 2 now, so they just, I think, have got to think short term now and just concentrate on getting some results.
You can hear an interview actually Bill did with the chairman, Rob Edwards. That will be as a podcast. That was in the first hour of the show. But Gordon, the games keep coming, don't they? And it's Bala on Saturday. Bala are 4th. Back at the Bridge Meadow, but that will be another test, won't it?
Definitely. I mean, Bala had a hiding off TNS on Saturday, 5-0 in their own backyard. So they'll be coming back to the meadow, hoping for a bit of a reaction. I'm sure they've had a bit of a roasting in their changing room after that game on Saturday. So Haverfordwest cannot be complacent. They have to be up for the fight. And as Tony Pennock said in his interview, he's up for the fight, but as his players, we want to see it on Saturday.
Yeah, get behind the Bluebirds, because I think they will be looking to bounce back, and it will be interesting to see if we get that response. We'll come to matters in the Pembrokeshire First Division, that great win for Goodwick and brilliant reaction from Chris O'Sullivan, the Goodwick head coach in the first hour. But let's cast our minds back to last Tuesday, shall we? Because we really have featured the Welsh women's side. Angharad James, of course, an absolute star from Pembrokeshire. She's played her part in that run. Fraser, I know you followed them closely. You were at the previous match, weren't you, the Thursday before? For people who don't know, Wales went down 2-1 with the Switzerland goal coming in the 121st minute of the game. It was agony, wasn't it, for Wales, Fraser?
It was a brutal finale, Ben. I think if we're perfectly honest about it, it's probably a win that Switzerland did deserve on the night. As the game went on, Wales did seem to be dropping deeper and deeper, and were perhaps the more fatigued team in extra time, and Switzerland did have the better of the chances overall, but still they were just a minute away from a penalty shootout. If they'd won that penalty shootout, I think they would have had that extra playoff game, but in very it would have been against weaker opposition. They would have been strong favourites to win that, looking at the way things have worked out. Look, we said it before, Ben, it's undeniable campaign of progress on and off the field. You know, Gemma Granger said she was proud afterwards, and she's plenty of reason to be proud. You know, Welsh football, women's football's taken another step forward, but another major tournament slips by. That's the reality of it, and it was a chance to make it.
You made that point, Fraser, actually, on Twitter. I saw you say that in the aftermath of the game. Progress made, but do you think Wales do need to take that next step? And what do you think, having watched the games closely, what do you think they need to do that?
I mean, they've taken one step forward in that they've reached the playoff stage. They've never done that before. So you have got... you can argue it in some ways they have taken a step forward and now have that experience if they're in the playoff situation again, and that always helps. I mean, it's a difficult one just to put a finger on what they need to do, Ben. It's just simply about getting results in high pressure games, isn't it? And unfortunately, it is a brutal playoff system. Like you say, you have to go to Switzerland and win, having only played the week before, but that is the way it works out to reach a World Cup. So it's just simply a case of getting results in these big occasions when there's so much on the line. Performance-wise, they've improved. You know, squad-wise, they've improved, and so much around the camp and around the team's improved. But they'd now be confident they compete in a qualification group, but they'll really want to get over the line to cement this decade of progress, if you like.
Progress is a big thing, and the fact, Gordon, so many people were following this campaign, and I'm sure felt huge disappointment with what happened with that last goal. That is in itself is a sign of how far Gemma Granger and the Wales side have come in this campaign.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they brought a high profile of women's football in Wales, and that's what they needed to do. As Fraser goes on about it, but I have to say the quality isn't quite as high as it should be. I'll be honest, there's some players they're lacking the experience and playing at international level. They've definitely improved on the international stage, and I think Granger's done a great job, and Ludlow before her as well. But it's going to take a little bit of time to get into the top half of women's football. It won't happen overnight. The most important thing is that it's going to get women out playing football and hopefully inspiring them to play at the top level. And there's only a small percentage will ever make it, Ben, as you know. But if we can unearth another Angharad James in Pembrokeshire to play for Wales, she's been a gem, to be fair to her. Yeah. If we can get a few of them from throughout Wales to play for our country and take us on, we just have to be patient as well. And nothing's given to you in sport. You have to earn it. And Wales give it their best shot, but unfortunately it wasn't quite good enough.
But a lot to take from that campaign, no doubt about it. Let's have some fun then, shall we, with some of the local football news from the weekend. The game really of the day, Fraser, you brought us some reaction in the first hour, was at Hakin against Goodwick. Goodwick coming up on top 3-2. That's a good win, because Hakin were banging form going into that, weren't they?
That was it. I think it's usually you're talking about a coin toss game between those two in recent seasons, but there was an overwhelming feeling for the first time going into this, speaking from around the account, that Hakin were the ones going in with the momentum, and Hakin were the clear favourites. In fact, I think it's probably fair to say that they've had the better pre-season, they've had the more competitive games, and they've had some great results in those cup competitions against supposedly higher league opposition. But Goodwick have got a lot of know-how, and they do always rise to this Hakin fixture. They've actually got a very, very good record of the Obs, considering how many times they've played there in the last few years, and they have the mentality down there now. You know, I think even although the last day of last season, although, you know, unfortunately other events maybe overshadowed that result, but they actually drew 1-0 with a severely weakened team that night. You know, and they do have what it takes to go to Hakin. They do dig in for that fixture, so kudos to them. It's a great win for them to come away with 3 points from that. It's early days. I think it's too early to call it any kind of knockout title blow. There's a long way to go, but it'll be a good boost for them.
Statement win though, Gordon, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Fraser just hit the nail on the head. I was talking to Fraser earlier about the game. Yeah, Hakin came into this. They only had to turn up, basically. They were far superior in pre-season than what Goodwick have shown. But I was talking to Chris Tansey, their old manager, before the game, and saying, like, any championship side who's going to win a title has to go to the champions and win. And I said, I remember Hakin doing that when they went to the bridge in their days of longevity and winning titles after titles, and Hakin went there and done it. And I did say to Chris, I didn't envisage Goodwick doing it on Saturday, but they went to the champions and they won. It's a big statement in that league, to be honest with you. It really is. And psychologically, it is a blow for Hakin. They'll recover, and I still think it's going to be a 2-horse race as well, Ben, even at this early stage.
I have to say, fair play to Merlin's Bridge, though. We thought it'd be very much a rebuilding year for them, didn't they? Lost a few players. Yeah. It is still early, you're right, but 4 wins on the bounce now. They're actually joint top there and played a game more, so a good start. Then
Yeah, they have actually. And Alfie Stoddard is playing really well. He had a hat-trick again on Saturday. I think that's his second hat-trick this season. They seem to be playing some decent football, getting goals, but getting up to Goodwick and Hakin standards is a different matter, isn't it? Sure. They've done very well, and they'll be glad they're second in the table at this moment in time. So there's a long way to go, but it's a really positive start by the Wizards.
Yeah, another weekend with lots of goals. Do the results in the first hour of the show, but Monks and Swifts put in 9 past St Ishmael's, Kilgetty 3, Penna Robbins 4. We get entertainment most Saturdays in the Pembrokeshire League, don't we?
Yeah, there's a few goals flying around at the moment as well.
I don't know what's happening to the defences in these sides. I don't know, with goalkeepers, I don't know what's going on. But no, all jokes aside, it's good to see. It's entertaining, isn't it? That's what you want to see.
Jason Chapman says that the Merlin's Bridge, good start to the season. I think that's down to their new pitch. We spoke about that, didn't we, at the start.
Well, they played at St Clears on Saturday.
That's true. It didn't quite work this time around, did it? No,
that's definitely not after they've done that.
Do you get in touch though? If you are watching on the Facebook, we've got a quick way for you to get through to us with your messages, and they'll come straight through to us whilst we're on the air. We'll take a moment in just a sec, but let me just have a quick look at what happened in the Premier League and a couple of questions to chuck at the two of you. Liverpool, I've said they're going to be out the top 4 this season, but that was a good win yesterday. Man City had a disallowed goal though. What do we think of that? Do we see that? Erling Haaland with a shirt full? Was that too much from VAR? It's
another debate again, isn't it? I think if it hadn't have been given first time around, was there enough there to overrule it? Was it a clear and obvious area? I don't know. I was switch off during VAR now and then.
I get a little bit fed up with all this. It's gone now anyway. At the end of the day, Liverpool got the result, and it's a great result for the Premier League. It's one that was needed because Man City have been blowing everybody away, including my side, Manchester United. And then Manchester United beat Liverpool and Arsenal. So it's just mad, isn't it? It's crazy. And we got Spurs to look forward to in midweek.
I would have asked Tom, but Tom, I'm sure you said all along that was a Man City disallowed goal. Quite right, wasn't it?
I was too busy celebrating 8th place.
I think Martin Tyler called it. He said in commentary, in normal time, you probably would have just let that go. If we didn't have VAR, that probably would have gone because it was just a slight fall. But the thing that's worrying me as well is that Arsenal look quite good, don't they? Got to win at Leeds.
Very good.
Yeah.
Even Piers Morgan has apologised to Mikel Arteta.
Yes.
Yeah, he's learned everything from Guardiola.
Yeah.
At City.
exactly.
He's even given them Gabriel Jesus as well, just to
exactly.
Yeah, very generous of him, that, wasn't it? Listen, we'll take a moment. We're going to talk cricket in just a sec, because we've got some great news actually for Pembrokeshire's youth cricket side, the Pembrokeshire Vikings. We're going to find out about that. We'll have a look at some rugby news, I'm sure, as well before 9, and reflect on a busy last 2 weekends in Saundersfoot with the World Rowing Championship. So we'll do that in a sec as well. It is Monday evening. Really good to have your company tonight. It's Pure West Sport.
Eaton Evans.